Manchester City is on the verge of a crucial showdown for the FA Cup semi-final, and the atmosphere is one of pure anticipation. Pep Guardiola, as always, attentive to every detail, provided updated information on the physical condition of the squad ahead of the clash against Nottingham Forest, scheduled to take place this Sunday at Wembley. The task promises to be challenging. After all, Forest has already managed to defeat us once this season, and that bitter loss with Hudson-Odoi's goal is still fresh in the minds of many fans. To add even more weight to this encounter, it's worth remembering that Nottingham Forest is in impressive form. They remain in direct competition for the top spots, just 1 point behind City and still with one game in hand. In other words, winning is crucial for both teams, which only heightens the tension of this clash. Despite the challenges, Manchester City comes in on a high, having won 4 out of the last 5 games. Among these victories, standout is the comeback win over Bournemouth in the quarterfinals, where young Nico O'Reilly stole the spotlight, coming off the bench to make a difference by assisting Erling Haaland and Omar Marmoush in key moments. However, not everything is rosy. The medical department is still a concern. Rodri, who suffered a serious knee injury last year, has returned to training, but Guardiola prefers to remain cautious. According to him, the final decision will depend on the medical assessment. Haaland, meanwhile, continues his recovery process, only participating in individual sessions. Despite this, the Catalan coach believes that the Norwegian striker will be back soon, and no one doubts Haaland's hunger to decide big games. Ederson's situation also raises doubts. The Brazilian goalkeeper is still feeling discomfort in his groin area, and although he has returned to training, his presence at Wembley is considered unlikely. As a result, Stefan Ortega is set to take over the goal once again, and his calmness under the crossbar brings some reassurance to the fans. Phil Foden, after injuring himself in the local derby, also remains out, while John Stones and Nathan Ake are working hard to be ready. To complete the picture, Oscar Bob is dealing with a muscle injury and is another doubt for the semi-final. Given this scenario of uncertainties, Guardiola needs to assemble the perfect puzzle. But if there's one thing this squad has already proven, it's that even in the face of adversity, the quality and determination of the group make the difference. The hope is that, with some players recovering and the strength of the collective, City can secure their place in another final. Now, it's all about supporting the team until the end. Wembley awaits us. And for you, passionate Manchester City fan, what's your prediction for this big game against Nottingham Forest? Go ahead and leave your forecast, but don't think the news stops here. While preparations for the semi-final are underway, the transfer market is starting to heat up behind the scenes. And one name in particular is already stirring the dreams of the fans, Désiré Doué. Rumors indicate that Guardiola and his coaching staff are keeping a close eye on the young talent from Paris Saint-Germain. At 19 years old, Doué is considered one of the brightest prospects in European football. Playing both on the wings and through the center of attack, he stands out for his physical strength, speed, and intelligence on the ball, qualities that Luis Enrique himself praised upon his arrival at the Parisian club. City's interest is so serious that they've already sent scouts to closely monitor the young player's performance. And Doué's numbers are impressive: 13 goals and 12 assists in 45 matches, an incredible tally for someone his age. PSG naturally is not expected to make negotiations easy. The asking price is around $85 million. A hefty sum, but one that could represent a smart investment, especially considering Manchester City is looking to refresh their squad after a season below expectations. The early elimination from the Champions League and a dip in form in the Premier League have raised alarm bells. Therefore, bringing in a young star like Doué could provide the energy and creativity needed to regain prominence next season. Imagining Doué wearing the sky blue shirt and fitting into Guardiola's style of play is already exciting many fans. But the question remains, is it worth investing so much in a prospect? Or would it be better to bet on more established players? Share your opinion. While the market stirs behind the scenes, another name that deserves attention on the pitch is Nico O'Reilly. The 20-year-old, who was developed in City's academy, has become a pleasant surprise in this final stretch of the season. Since his brilliant performance against Bournemouth, his rise has been meteoric. O'Reilly has participated in 5 consecutive Premier League matches, scoring 2 goals and playing an important role in City's battle for a spot in the next Champions League edition. His performance is even more impressive considering he's been played out of position. A naturally attacking midfielder, O'Reilly was adapted to play as a left-back, a role in which he's been performing surprisingly well. This change has not only elevated O'Reilly's own game, but also raised the level of Josko Gvardiol, strengthening the team's defensive unit. According to journalist Sam Lee, Guardiola's long-term plan is to convert O'Reilly into a defensive midfielder, possibly as Rodri's successor. The trust placed in such a young player speaks volumes about his talent and adaptability. However, despite the praise, there are rumors that O'Reilly himself is not fully convinced by this new role. His natural calling is to be closer to goal, creating and finishing plays. However, with 3 goals and 2 assists in this FA Cup campaign alone, it's clear that, regardless of the position, O'Reilly is a difference-maker. He is expected to start again against Nottingham Forest, probably as an improvised left-back. In a recent interview with the club's official website, the young player didn't hide his excitement about the possibility of playing an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Acknowledging the strength of the opponent, he showed himself ready for the challenge. His constant development suggests that Manchester City could have yet another gem ready to shine. Fans, how do you see O'Reilly's future? Should he remain as an attacking midfielder, continue as an improvised fullback, or fully embrace the mission of succeeding Rodri? Share your opinion. And speaking of possible departures, a piece of news that could break the hearts of fans, Ederson, one of the pillars of Manchester City's recent successes, may be leaving. The Brazilian goalkeeper, who has been battling physical issues this season, has attracted interest from Al Ittihad, Saudi Arabia. According to sources close to the situation, negotiations are progressing, with Ederson himself open to considering the move. The fact is, after years being a key figure in Guardiola's system, injuries have hindered his ability to stay on the field. As a result, Stefan Ortega has received more opportunities and has shown he's capable of taking on the responsibility. Ederson had previously received tempting offers. Last year, he revealed that he seriously considered a move to Saudi Arabia but chose to stay after talks with Guardiola. Now, the situation seems different. Negotiations for a possible renewal have cooled, and with the season coming to an end, the prospect of a departure is gaining momentum. Should the move materialize, Manchester City will likely seek a new name for the position. One of the candidates is Diogo Costa, goalkeeper for Porto and the Portuguese national team, who is highly regarded by the board and coaching staff. With so many changes looming on the horizon, Manchester City finds itself at a crossroads that could redefine part of its squad in the coming seasons. The potential departure of Ederson is not just a goalkeeper swap, but the end of a winning cycle that he helped build under Guardiola's command. The impact of such a loss goes beyond the pitch, also affecting the dressing room, internal leadership, and the confidence in the defensive system that has relied on the Brazilian's security for years. Stefan Ortega, while having shown consistency whenever called upon, remains an unknown in terms of assuming the starting role in a team accustomed to competing for the top across all fronts. Guardiola, as meticulous as ever, knows that the search for a new goalkeeper cannot be rushed. Diogo Costa from Porto is a strong name behind the scenes, but bringing in a replacement for Ederson will require not only technical skill, but also the personality to handle the pressure of replacing a recent club legend. While potential departures are being discussed, attention is also turning to the young talents emerging. Nico O'Reilly is the prime example of this renewal. Every touch of the ball, every movement on the pitch shows that Manchester City is ready to build a new chapter in its history with homegrown athletes. The tactical flexibility that Guardiola has explored with O'Reilly, adapting him to different roles, suggests that the manager sees him as a key piece for the coming years, even though the young player is still adjusting to this transition. O'Reilly, although excited by the opportunity, made it clear in recent interviews that he prefers to play further forward on the pitch, directly influencing playmaking and aiming for goals. His adaptation to the left-back role, while impressive, is seen by many as a step in his development rather than a permanent position. Guardiola, known for reinventing his players, seems determined to mold O'Reilly into a defensive midfielder, a strategic position in his system of play. With the squad's future evolving, Manchester City is also not wasting time in the transfer market. The name gaining traction is Desire Doué, the young standout from PSG. At 19, Doué already carries the status of an international prospect, with performances that display maturity far beyond his years. His ability to play both on the wings and more centrally gives him a rare versatility, something Guardiola has always valued in his players. The idea of bringing Doué to the Etihad is not only based on his current talent, but, more importantly, on his potential to develop within the team's style of play. With 13 goals and 12 assists in 45 appearances, he already shows the ability to change games, something City has been seeking to strengthen its squad, especially after a season below expectations in terms of continental achievements. The investment required to bring Doué from PSG is high, around $85 million, but the board seems willing to make a significant bet on a squad rejuvenation project. The potential arrival of the Frenchman would bring not only technical quality, but also a renewal of energy to a group that, after years at the top, is beginning to show signs of wear. Still, not everything is good news. The long list of injuries is concerning for Guardiola ahead of the FA Cup semi-final clash against Nottingham Forest. The absence of key players like Rodri, still recovering from a serious knee injury, Phil Foden, who sustained a blow in the derby, and Ederson dealing with an adductor issue, forces the manager to juggle his team selection. Erling Haaland, another pillar of the attack, is also in recovery, taking part only in individual sessions, with no clear timeline for his return to competitive action. The hope is that he can accelerate his preparation and be available to make a decisive impact, as he has proved on many occasions. The defense, a historically solid area under Guardiola, is also feeling the absence of key players. John Stones and Nathan Ake are working to regain their best physical form, while Oscar Bob adds his name to the injury list after suffering a muscle injury before the victory against Everton. These absences force Guardiola to rely on the squad's depth and the adaptability of his players. It is in this context that young players like O'Reilly are gaining opportunities and showing that they can be protagonists, not just emergency options. The confidence in City's youth development project has never been higher, and the time to prove this investment has come. While the physical situation of the squad is worrying, the winning mentality built in recent years gives hope to the fans. Even in the face of adversity, Manchester City remains firmly in the hunt for titles and a privileged position in the Premier League. The current opponent, Nottingham Forest, comes into the match full of momentum and determined to surprise. With a solid campaign and an aggressive style of play, the Reds have already shown this season that they know how to take on giants. The bitter memory of their defeat to Forest in March, with that stunning goal by Callum Hudson-Odoi, is still fresh in the minds of the players and fans. Guardiola knows he cannot underestimate the opponent. The Catalan coach has been preparing his team for an intense battle at Wembley, fully aware that any slip-up could be fatal in a knockout match. The extra motivation of playing in one of the world's football cathedrals should boost the squad, especially the young players like O'Reilly, who see this opportunity as a chance to make their mark in the club's history. The spirit of the final is in the air, and fans are already making their predictions. Some are betting on a tight win, while others believe that even with key players missing, the team can show its strength and progress with authority to yet another FA Cup final. In addition to the excitement for the semi-final, the sense of anticipation regarding the team's future dominates conversations among fans. The potential arrival of Doué, the consolidation of O'Reilly, the impending decision on Ederson, and the search for reinforcements in goal are all hot topics. Amidst all this, one certainty remains firm. Manchester City is still evolving, adapting to changes, and preparing to build new cycles of success. Whether with established stars or promising young players, The club shows that it is not complacent, always seeking new ways to stay at the top. With Wembley calling, the citizens' eyes are focused on the decisive Sunday. A victory could represent not only progression to yet another final, but also a crucial step in keeping the competitive fire alive in a season full of challenges. The confidence, despite the obstacles, remains strong. Manchester City, after all, is a team built to face and overcome adversity. As preparations for the clash against Nottingham Forest progress, behind the scenes at Manchester City, conversations about the future are gaining more and more momentum. The potential arrival of Desire Doué, combined with Nico O'Reilly's consolidation in the first team, paints a picture where youth and renewal will be central pillars for the new cycle Guardiola plans. It's no secret that Pep has always valued players capable of interpreting different roles on the pitch. O'Reilly's development, who, even when moved from his natural position, managed to deliver solid performances, is a direct reflection of this philosophy. And if the bet on young talents like him is confirmed, the signing of Doué would further reinforce this strategy. A physically strong player, with tactical intelligence and a knack for goals, seems to be the type of piece Guardiola envisions to form a new competitive core. But the moves don't stop there. The transfer market promises to be busy for Manchester City, especially in light of the very real possibility of losing Ederson. The approach of Al Ittihad to the Brazilian goalkeeper is serious, and rumors are already gaining confirmation tones in the corridors of the Etihad Stadium. Despite his strong connection with the club and the fans, Ederson knows that a player's cycle, no matter how glorious it has been, must end at the right time. Stefan Ortega, so far discreet and efficient, may gain a bigger role next season, but the club knows it will need another strong name for the goal. Diego Costa from Porto stands out as the favorite, but the management is also considering other profiles, looking for someone who combines youth, technical quality, and the ability to withstand the pressure of playing at one of the world's biggest clubs. This natural transition in the squad is seen as necessary. After years of national dominance and historic campaigns in Europe, the team needs to reinvent itself to remain at the top. The lessons from the eliminations and setbacks this season serve as fuel for Guardiola and his players. And it is precisely in these moments of rebuilding that City usually shows its true strength. Returning to the immediate present, the clash against Nottingham Forest represents a crucial test, not only because of the desire to reach yet another FA Cup final, but also to reaffirm the team's winning identity. Even with absentees, even in a moment of transition, Manchester City must prove to itself and to the world that it is still a force to be reckoned with. In the dressing room, Guardiola's message is clear. Overcoming obstacles is what defines great champions. The absence of key players cannot be an excuse. The youth in the squad, far from being a problem, should be seen as an opportunity to write new stories. Wembley is the stage where legends are born, and for many of the young players who will be on the pitch, this could be the first of many unforgettable nights. Rodri's return to training, although limited, excites the coaching staff. His presence, even if partial, already lifts the morale of the group. Erling Haaland, although not yet cleared for full training, also brings optimism behind the scenes. His hunger for goals and competitive spirit are elements that make a difference in decisive games. The hope is that, if he doesn't start, he can at least be a weapon on the bench to change the course of the match if needed. In defense, the expectation is that Guardiola will maintain confidence in the more experienced players available, such as Ruben Dias and Manuel Akanji, mixing them with the energy of the younger players. The balance between experience and youth will be crucial to neutralizing the threat posed by Nottingham Forest's fast attack. In attack, without Foden and with Haaland still recovering, the responsibility should fall on Julian Alvarez and Jack Grealish. Two players who, at different times during the season, have shown the ability to decide games. Alvarez, in particular, is experiencing a moment of growth and could be one of the keys to breaking through the opposition's defense. And of course, we can't forget about the midfield. Without Rodri at full fitness, players like Mateo Kovacic and Mateus Nunes will need to take on more responsibility in both the build-up and protection of the team. The dynamics of the midfield will be vital to set the tempo of the game and prevent Forest from feeling comfortable on the pitch. Beyond the technical and tactical aspects, the emotional side will play a decisive role. Playing an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley is always special. The atmosphere, the pressure, the history surrounding England's most iconic stadium, all of this weighs in. For Manchester City, who have grown accustomed to big nights in recent years, this is yet another opportunity to show they can handle the magnitude of decisive moments. As the ball has not yet rolled, the speculations continue to heat up. Besides Douy, other names are starting to emerge on City's radar. The idea is not only to reinforce the wings, but also to ensure depth in every position. The coaching staff understands that a long and demanding season like English football requires a robust squad capable of handling multiple competitions simultaneously. Guardiola's playing philosophy, based on possession, constant movement, and high pressing, demands a lot physically from the players. Therefore, renewing the squad is not just about bringing in fresh blood, but a necessity to maintain the level of intensity that has become Manchester City's trademark in this era. As always, the planning is meticulous. Every signing, every departure, is thought out to ensure the system continues to function as smoothly as possible. The search for versatile players who can play more than one role is an essential part of this strategy. In this context, the arrival of Doué would make perfect sense. A player who can be a winger, attacking midfielder or false nine, would fit perfectly into the fluid structure Guardiola likes to implement. Still young, with vast room for development, and already showing tactical maturity, he would be a valuable piece both for the present and the future. While fans dream of new stars and executives work behind the scenes, the immediate reality is Wembley. The ball will roll, and for 90 minutes or more, all eyes will be on the battle for a spot in the final. It's a moment of unity, of believing that regardless of absentees and uncertainties, Manchester City's winning spirit will prevail. And should victory come, it will be confirmation that even amidst transitions, City remains City, a club that refuses to lower its head, that reinvents itself every season, and that above all, keeps its insatiable ambition for titles alive. And so, folks, Manchester City's journey continues to be intense, with many questions yet to be answered, but also with great opportunities ahead. The fight for the FA Cup, the future of key players, and movements in the transfer market promise to further heat up this final stretch of the season. We are following it all closely and will continue bringing you the latest updates. If you like the content and want to stay updated on everything happening at City, don't forget to leave your like below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details. With every update, we'll be with you, hoping the team will claim another title and continue writing its story at the highest level. Until next time, folks, let's support Manchester City towards another victory. Stay tuned and see you in the next video.